Thanks to Red Dragon Force for requesting this video.
Arise! Optimus Prime.
One minute and 11 seconds of logos, including Hasbro thinking they have enough juice for a film vanity logo. Sorry bro, Mr. Potato Head is only in Disney flicks. You were barely involved in the D&D movie, you had nothing to do with the 85 Clue movie, and your monopoly over Monopoly films has resulted in exactly $0 so far. You may have plans, but how about we take a breather on the logo bravura until you've actually done something?
Wow. First sin, and it's already incredibly stupid? Nice job, Jeremy. This Hasbro logo is simply telling the audience everything they own. It is not relating to any films they've produced about these characters. I remember you saying something similar about the Sega logo when they played it in front of the Sonic movies, and Birdman responded to that twice. How come you still haven't learned your lesson?
Also Peppa Pig.
Also, this pointing things out on the screen, Sin.
So this upside down part of the city seems pretty interesting. Obviously some robots hang around in the upper part, but either gravity doesn't bother them or the basement floor is more like the top floor. It's an important detail that is never explained, and clearly the movie makers aren't considering the curiosity of the architects among us.
What? How is this an important detail at all? What did these building designs have anything to do with the plot of the film? Nothing, that's what. You're just being your usual pedantic self by claiming details that no one cares about are plot holes of films. Trust me, they aren't.
The short of this presentation is that a super robot god becomes a planet that withholds life-giving energy to everyone until a leader that it likes is in charge. What a dick.
Yeah, no. Jeremy is just straight up lying right now. If you actually watched the scene, you would have heard this recording explain that Primus created the Primes first, and they were made as the most powerful Transformers to protect future generations. They were then given the Matrix of Leadership, which helped Energon flow through all of Cybertron. Here, I'll play the clip so you can hear it.
At the dawn of time, there was our gracious and powerful creator, Primus. To protect our universe, he sacrificed his life force, transforming himself into our planet, Cybertron. From within Cybertron's core, Primus birthed the first Transformers, known as the Primes. The most powerful Transformers appointed to lead and protect future generations. To assist them, Primus created an entity of great power, the Matrix of Leadership.
Matrix, there it is. Okay, good. Come on, keep going.
With the Matrix in the Prime's possession, Cybertron's natural power source, Energon, flowed in abundance, sustaining life across the planet.
The Matrix, there it is. Okay, good. Come on, keep going.
Thing heard in theaters after the first Matrix movie, but not after any of the sequels somehow makes it into the script.
Okay, I'll give you that with Revolutions and Resurrections, but Reloaded got pretty dang good reviews from critics and audiences, and it made those people excited to see how the trilogy was going to wrap up. I remember thinking that when I saw the movie. Whether or not the ending was good is debatable, but that's a topic for another time.
Also, why wouldn't he just grab as many backstory discs as he can and then take them home? You're telling me he couldn't find a way to play them outside of the Forbidden Zone?
Yes, it doesn't seem like he has a way to do that. What was in the movie to suggest that he could? You're just making an assumption based on nothing.
He doesn't have a cog. Let's give him a head start.
Why not? It's not like he can transform.
This conversation that serves no purpose to anyone in the room, but gives the audience that sweet, sweet cog exposition they've been craving.
While this is exposition for the audience, it also shows how overconfident these guards are. They don't think Orion can get away because he doesn't have a cog and can't transform. I mean, he would have gotten caught if D16 wasn't there to save him.
So long, sucker!
The overhead shot established there was no hole in the ground, but suddenly there is one.
The movie isn't saying this hole was open. It's saying that Orion stepped on the lid and his weight caused it to fall through the hole that was there. I feel like I'm talking to a child right now.
Orion.
In this huge city, Orion just happens to jump onto a moving train that has two people who not only know who he is, but indicate they've experienced this before. Either Orion is somehow a household name, or this movie has transformed into a convenience bot.
Or maybe these Transformers always go to the same job every day at the same time, and Orion goes to the archives around the same time, and it's generally around the same area.
Let me guess. Checked out of the archives?
Since you're guessing about this, I'll also guess that this means you just happen to be in the exact right place at the exact right time to ex machina your best friend, and this movie is guessing that no one will notice. Well, you guessed wrong, movie.
I think it's possible that D16 probably assumed Orion was doing this, and so came here with this box just in case. These two are really good friends at this point.
Hey, if we did have cogs, I'd transform into a shovel and beat you.
In a world where machines with cogs have the ability to transform into anything they like, the fact that most of them walk around looking humanoid is probably the biggest sin of the movie.
Most of them? You know, most of these Transformers don't even have cogs, right? That's like a major plot point of this film.
Spending time taking us through the entire Energon mining process like I give a shit about the entire Energon mining process.
But you should. This is meant to show how hard these miners work and why Orion feels like he could be doing more. And it also shows us the difficult work Sentinel Prime forces him to do so he can pay off the Quintessons.
Feeling like I have enough power in me to drill down and touch Primus myself.
Saying this in a PG-13 movie.
This movie is rated PG. I mean, it's literally the most kid-friendly Transformers movie out of all of them. Yes, even the 1986 movie. That one was brutal.
No! Such heroic nonsense.
You with me, D? On your six!
But isn't the 6 a reference to the 6 on a clock? So wouldn't that be directly behind Pax?
Which he is?
Next time, why don't you stop and think before you ruin someone's life?
Forgetting that Orion stopped and thought about Jazz's life being ruined before he disobeyed orders and saved him yesterday. Which just means the real issue is probably Orion's sexism.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where did that sexism accusation come from? That came out of left field. More importantly, though, Alita is more so pissed at Orion for getting her fired, and more importantly though, Alita is more so pissed at Orion for getting her fired. Why is this sentence so hard? More importantly though, Alita is more so pissed at Orion. I keep saying Orion, but I also want to say Ryan, like Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling. Like it's Orion. Okay. Cool. More importantly, though, Alita is more so pissed at Orion for getting her fired, and so isn't really thinking clearly. That's what happens when you're blinded by anger.
I may not have a cog, but my finger can transform. Guess which one? I'll give you a limited option.
How did the Transformers develop the same you finger we did? On Earth, it came about because it was a way to simulate a human sexual appendage as a taunt. And I don't think Hasbro was ready to wrestle with the fact that they just confirmed Transformers have dicks.
Ah, yes, because that's the weirdest part of this whole movie, and not the fact that these Transformers speak perfect American English. Like, if you want to ask why they're so similar to Earth, I would have started there.
Is it on? Okay, thank you.
Not trusting that your producer has that sorted and just starting your speech, as if we needed more obvious tells that Sentinel Prime is the bad guy.
How does this in any way tell us that Sentinel is a bad guy? I mean, I'm not saying him being the villain is a complete surprise, especially since Dark of the Moon already did that, but I don't see how this is a hint to that.
Let's all see which competitor can prove they are truly more than meets the eye.
Reference!
Yes, it is. Good job, Jeremy. You can point out what's happening in the film. Now, please tell me what was wrong with that.
What if?
Doing 3 full runs of What If when the first one would have been enough.
Jeremy doesn't know what building tension is, which is what Orion is doing.
Look, there's Thunderglide and Behemoth.
My college girlfriend's exclamations while checking her bedside table drawer have entered the chat.
That dumb joke. And that pronunciation of the word exclamations.
It has been precisely 50 cycles since the Quintessons attacked our home.
Not giving us the context we need to know how long 50 cycles is. I'd assume similar to our years, but in the comics, a cycle was often a day, so now I don't know if these Quintessons attacked 50 days ago, 50 years ago, or maybe it was 50 centuries ago.
I'm pretty sure your first assumption is the correct one.
Why'd you bring jetpacks?
More important question, how did you get them? Are they able to be snuck out of the mines? Because surely if that were true, Orion would have brought one along for the archive escapade earlier instead of climbing up the outside.
Hold on, what's the sin? The fact that Orion got them out of the mines, or the fact that he should have had one when he snuck into the archives? Why did you start the sin off with, how did he get them? Don't you see how this is confusing?
It's time to show him we are more than meets the eye.
Same reference!
Yes, it is. Good job, Jim.
Instead of kicking out unqualified entrants to the race, the graphics team immediately inserts them as a participant, as a single entity called miners. Yep, it's a movie.
I would guess because they want to see how far these miners would get in this race. I doubt they expect them to get very far, but maybe then they could use that opportunity to make fun of them.
If we survive this, I'm gonna kill you!
Or you could just, stop racing with him. Also, spoiling the end of your own movie.
Jeremy doesn't know what foreshadowing is.
Orion Pax, D16.
I'm gonna say your names ominously and convey an energy of intimidation at first, even though I'm actually here to praise you because audiences eat this weak-ass fake-out up.
Don't you know who this guy is? He's a bit of a jerk, just saying. Need I remind you, he literally stole their cogs when they were born?
Arachnid, have someone escort these heroes to my personal service facilities.
This bot is named Arachnid, a play on the Earth word for spider, because she walks like a spider and has eyes like a spider. And do they even have spiders here?
Well, they have deer on the surface, so maybe yes.
Hate that guy.
You mean Darkwing? The guard you flipped off for just doing his job? The guy you interfered with as an unregistered racer in a race he was probably about to win? Yeah, he's the asshole here.
Did you not watch the scene that showed why Orion flipped him off? It was because he fired Alita for not doing her job properly, even though it was technically Orion who did that. And Orion is saying this because he took them to a lower level instead of the Sentinel's quarters, and he did that just because he was angry. Yeah, he's the a-hole here.
Oh! I'm B127, by the way. But you can call me B.
Movie continues to accidentally its leads into meet cutes with other important characters like this bumbling bee.
Except no, you got that backwards. B127 is important because Orion and D16 run into him. If that didn't happen, we don't get Bumblebee, and we don't get your favorite Transformers movie.
Our job is to look for anything that might be worth salvaging before it hits the furnace and gets smelted.
So you watch garbage burn.
D16 would be a bingo at Vocation Sins.
And why is that a sin? I'm pretty sure Darkwing wanted them down here specifically because it's boring after they messed with him in the race.
Those are coordinates to a location on the surface.
The way these bozos convenient themselves into this holographic map of planetoid plot relevance is so ridiculous it just made A New Hope 78% better just by existing.
What does that even mean? Are you suggesting A New Hope wasn't already a good movie? If that were the case, I don't think we have a giant franchise because of it.
Touchable, movable, holographic projections.
But didn't you criticize this movie multiple times for having advanced technology but not having other things?
Having advanced holographic display technology but needed to pull the old NES blow-me trick to get it to work properly. The movie insinuates that in this advanced technological society, security is handled by hovering guard bots instead of surveillance cameras or motion detectors. Not only that, but the only reason this guard bot even woke up was because it heard the playback malfunction when OP put the card in a few seconds ago.
So why are you now sending it for having advanced technology?
What do you think Sentinel's reaction would be if you personally handed him the matrix of leadership that you found?
Orion continues to be that asshole who constantly goads his friend into doing horribly dangerous things, and the movie will continue to treat him like some kind of hero.
That's called a character arc. Orion stops being that kind of person when he learns a Sentinel lied to them and he decides to fight back against his injustice. He becomes a much wiser character over the course of the film, matching the Optimus Prime we all know and love.
Thanks for being an idiot, whoever you are.
And of course, their former boss they got fired is the one that finds them because of course she is.
Maybe that's because when Darkwing fired her, he specifically told her to report to Waste Management, which is where they are right now.
Why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I?
The movie allows its character to ask a logical question several times that it has no intention of answering.
What's logical about this question?
I am speechless.
Get it? He will become Bumblebee and Bumblebee can't talk. Do you get it?
Depends on what continuity you're talking about, because Bumblebee isn't always speechless in every version. I can tell you're thinking of the Michael Bay films though, but this isn't a prequel to those movies. You can figure that out just by noticing that Sentinel Prime dies in this film, and he is also the villain in Dark of the Moon.
It's cute how Hasbro thinks they will have an amusement park someday where they can make this a ride.
If that ride involves falling off, then I'd say Hasbro are idiots for thinking that.
Also, watching this highly important vehicle get smashed around by the shifting surface makes me wonder if there has to be a better way to deliver its valuable contents via, I don't know, planes or other mechanical creations that seem to be an option in this world.
Doesn't this train still get the job done? I mean, it's not like the entire thing is destroyed by this.
Why the are there transforming deer and why are they grazing?
And why do these Transformers have humanoid-like features like 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs, etc.?
So now that they are walking, is the terraforming rock threat just not a thing anymore? Or its geological properties plot dependent?
Or maybe it only happens occasionally, but not all the time?
Why shouldn't we? Just walking into the scariest place I've ever seen in my entire life. This is ridiculous.
Nice of B to hang a lantern on the recklessness here, but seriously, shouldn't at least one of you stay back at the entrance to spot any possible trouble?
These aren't soldiers. They're not trained to think like that.
If one tiny Energon cube can completely power up this Amazonian Prime this quickly, I'm gonna need a lesson in robot digestion immediately.
And I'm going to need a lesson on why you think this is a sin.
Come. I will show you.
I guess even primes haven't been programmed to avoid. You better come take a look at this cliches.
Usually I just want to say I don't like this sin, but this one is particularly egregious because Morpheus is about to explain that their entire life that they've been living is a lie. That's not something you can just say, you have to show it. Heck, we both referenced The Matrix, and Morpheus in that movie had to do the same thing so Neo could understand what The Matrix even was, and that his life was a lie. Man, I didn't realize how similar these things were until I said it out loud.
The Primes prove their strength and defeat a horde of green monsters, but a weaker Sentinel shows up with a sword and a blaster, taking out the Primes? How did he become so powerful? Are we skipping that part?
Because it was a surprise attack, and the Primes were focused on the Quintessons.
The matrix of leadership can only be wielded by one that Primus himself deems worthy.
Chris Hemsworth plays a character hoping to wield a weapon that is picky about who can wield it cliché.
Arbitrary Marvel reference.
He's here. Sentinel Prime is here.
Well, that's convenient. It's almost like every character is a wizard and arrives precisely when the script means them to.
But this is after the trains with Energon and them came out, so obviously Sentinel would be here to get them to the Quintessons.
What in the Dark Crystal Gartham is going on here?
Arbitrary Dark Crystal reference.
Also, do they have this big pomp and circumstance on every delivery, or just the ones they know we, the audience, are watching?
Who cares?
Sentinel lied to my face.
No, he lied to you through speeches and broadcasts. The only time he was ever in your face, he just talked about wanting you guys to inspire the miners to work more, which was surprisingly the truth.
While you're not entirely wrong, you have to understand that's what D16 feels right now. He feels betrayed after finding out his entire life was a lie. He thought he was mining for Energon so they could survive, and has just found out that Sentinel Prime is giving in to their greatest enemy. It'd be like if you found out that God doesn't actually care about you.
Don't you want to stop him?
No, I want to kill him!
So, stopping him then?
But Orion was talking about simply arresting him for what he's done. D16 wants to murder him out of revenge. Two different things right here, and it's why these two ultimately break up.
He removed your cogs before you came online.
Movie opted to spend 20 seconds showing us the mining of Energon and 30 seconds showing us how Energon is lifted out of a train and sucked into a ship, but 0 seconds showing us the magical robot birthing chamber where Sentinel goes to rip out magical transformation cogs from innocent miners before they come online, and I want to see that shit.
Are you saying we should have seen that in the beginning or something? Wouldn't that have spoiled the twist? I mean, maybe you're talking about seeing it in a flashback, but if so, be more specific then. In any case, I don't think anyone else cares about this. Can we just move on, please?
Take their cogs and access your full potential.
Grave robbing.
I think this Prime should feel honored that their cogs are being used to save Cybertron.
I got it.
D16 transforms from jovial best friend to sociopathic revenge bot faster than you could angrily type, "How did you not sin Chris Hemsworth for not being worthy of licking the vocal boots of Peter Cullen?" in the comments.
First of all, D16's transformation would feel fast if you skipped the scene where you learned the Sentinel Prime was lying to him. Except you didn't. You literally showed the scene of him being mad about that, and that's why he is revenge driven for the rest of the film. And second of all, yeah, Chris Hemsworth is no Peter Cullen, but he still did a great job voicing him in a much younger version too. Like, are you really suggesting that 83-year-old Peter Cullen should voice a younger Optimus Prime? That's like saying Harrison Ford should have played young Indiana Jones in an opening flashback. That would be stupid, right?
Not trusting us to know it's an alien planet without showing us that it has more moons than we do.
Since this has been a thing in Transformers lore long before this film came out, that shouldn't be a sin of Transformers One.
Are you spies? Or just incompetent lackeys?
Thinking these are the only two options.
Dude, this is Starscream we're talking about. The guy who's always tried to betray Megatron every chance he gets. I'm pretty sure he's always antagonistic.
Who exactly are you guys?
I think there are a group of rebels added into the movie about 2/3 of the way in to make sure the film gets to a feature-length runtime, and also to give us a much-needed hit of nostalgia for some of the bots we remember from our childhood. Am I close?
Yeah, you were so close, but then you missed it. These are the same Transformers that helped them fight Sentinel in the climax, and they also become the future Autobots and Decepticons. We know that happens for Starscream, Soundwave, and Shockwave when they become Decepticons.
D16 transforms from sociopathic revenge bot to autocratic war-hungry cult leader faster than you could angrily type, "How did you not remove a sin?" for my specific favorite part of the movie in the comments.
There wasn't any other chance for him to become leader like this, dude.
Those Energon trains will be heading back to Iacon. If we intercepted one...
Hell yes, I can reroute it.
The trains that have been hard to track? The trains that were present outside of the Prime's Death Cave sometime yesterday? The Death Cave that they no longer are near because they were captured and moved to Starscream's hideout? But somehow they'll know the way to get wherever the magic trains are to complete this mission.
Orion literally said in the clip you show that they are heading back to Iacon. That's how they'll be able to find them. Like, how are you saying this as if the explanation isn't in the film?
Why should we follow you? We will follow you!
Using violence as a threat to increase loyalty is so hilarious.
Yes, it is.
What is our first move?
We roll out.
Another reference!
Yes, it is. Good job.
Megatronus was the coolest Prime!
False. Despite Sheldon's full-throated defense of 73, 41 is the coolest Prime. It's just sexier. Dare you to find a sexier Prime than 41. You can't!
Jeremy says something random cliche.
But as you can see, everything is different now.
Flashing your cogs in a public setting without explicit consent, or the opportunity to receive beads in return.
This dumb joke.
Alita, it's time.
They can talk to each other over long distances? Well, f***ing call B and D16 and check in on their captured asses.
It's possible the High Guard had these communication devices and so gave them to Orion and Alita. D16 and B wouldn't have them in that scenario.
Check out this amazing shot of the two forces. Oh, we're done with that angle already? Can this movie please just sit still for 1 second during the action scenes?
That was only one example you used. Why don't you show more to prove this point further?
You can jab them later. Gotta go.
B can jab them later? Like after they win, Orion will allow B to kill prisoners? Or does Orion anticipate a long battle so more stabbing is probable? How can he be so confident that B can murder with his knife hands?
How can he be so confident that B can murder with his knife hands? Maybe because B literally killed people with said knife hands? So why is this question?
Also, I guess Orion has suddenly decided that telling his best friend D16 that he's abandoning the Sentinel fight for another plan isn't that important. Orion is a D to D.
He's not though. He's still trying to take down Sentinel. What movie are you watching, Jeremy? Because I don't think it's Transformers One.
That's why after I killed him, I took his cog for myself.
No, really, how the f*** did they get Air-Acted to broadcast the perfect messages in the perfectly edited order?
They probably found all the clips they need to show and show them to the world.
Who would have thought that Sentinel Prime, a bot capable of defeating all the primes of the past, has taken a tumble to the top of a building and is suddenly weak enough to be destroyed?
As I said earlier, Sentinel was able to kill the primes because he surprise attacked them, and D16 is angry right now, which is why he's able to overpower Sentinel.
Optimus Pax Machina.
Apparently Orion saving the villain of the film is a solution to a problem that came out of nowhere. At this point, I'm starting to think you didn't go to school.
I'm done saving you.
Nice to see that even on other planets, robots are programmed.
No. Jeremy just sent the most heartbreaking scene from all the movies of 2024. I am not going to allow you to get away with this.
Also, can we pause for a moment of silence for all the other robots that have fallen into this massive pit to nowhere?
He did it again!
Also, Lawrence Fishburne plays a character that leads someone to the Matrix cliche.
Arbitrary Matrix reference.
Waiting until a few minutes into the fight to manifest the glowy hand axe thingy. I honestly don't know why it's a more awesome weapon than the flamethrowers, but if the Matrix of leadership was going to make such a big deal about it, it could have done so much sooner.
Probably because Optimus didn't need it until now when Megatron is beating him up. Just a thought.
I am Optimus Prime.
Chris Hemsworth is not worthy of licking the vocal boots of Peter Cullen.
Cool. Sing the moment where Chris did the best Peter Cullen impression since John Bailey. Then again, you've seen Optimus's narration before, so I think you would have still seen this anyway. Nice going, Jeremy.